Stay tuned for this important tip.
From our garden to yours. Do you want to start a vegetable garden, but you don't have the space? A community garden may be the answer for you. Ed Thralls, our community garden expert and extension agent, is here to help. Welcome, Ed.
Thanks, Celeste. I'm glad to be here.
Community gardens, I've heard that term passed around. What is a community garden?
Well, a community garden means a lot of different things to different people, but for our purposes, we will call it a piece of land where neighbors want to garden together, to raise vegetables, to develop their community, and for recreation.
I like that idea because people like to garden. Gardening together is an activity that is more fun when you do it together.
Especially in communities. I've been in a lot of different communities over my life, and sometimes I didn't know who the neighbor was 2 houses away. And a community garden is one way to generate that interest, meet your neighbors, and find out that many of you have, beyond community garden interest, other interests that are in common.
And of course, the outcome is getting to eat delicious food that you grew yourself.
Yes, the food coming from a community garden is, I think, the best tasting in the world. And the reason is because you pick it at its peak of ripeness. And it's just so delicious.
So does Orange County have a program now, a special program just for community gardens?
Yes, Orange County now has a community garden program. On February the 2nd, the Board of County Commissioners approved the program, and they will permit neighbors to garden on parks or community center properties. All they have to do is contact me, and we'll start the process.
And so I did mention that you're a community garden expert. You've helped a lot of community gardens get started, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've worked with the community garden out in Winter Garden, where there are 110 gardeners growing right now with above ground beds. I've been involved with the churches in Winter Park. I've worked with City of Orlando, the Paramore Community Garden that started up. And now that we've got the activity going within the county government, I've got 3 new gardens in the process.
And are these on public lands too?
They will be on public lands. The first one will be at the Pine Hills Community Center. Orla Vista Park will probably be the second one. And Riverview Acres up near Lockhart, I guess it would be like 434 and Edgewater will be the third one. And it's just a matter of time. I think within the next 3 months, we'll have them together and people should start gardening in them and be ready by September.
And so what is Extension's involvement? What do you actually provide to the folks?
Oh, well, I'm the first point of contact, so I start with education right away. And to educate them, they need to do a lot of paperwork. What else would we do in the government if we didn't have paperwork? So we have a checklist, and part of the checklist is to get them registered. They have to have a number of people interested in gardening, or the community garden probably just won't take off. And once they get a garden group together, they decide their own rules. And then they sign a licensing agreement with the county. And that's just like a group of people going to sign out a portion of the park for, let's say, a social activity of some kind. You sign a license agreement. With this license agreement will be 12 months long and not just for one event. So you can grow a garden, and then it'll have 2 12-month renewable periods. So you can look forward to 3 years of growing very healthy vegetables, and you're going to be growing them with all the organic methods available, because that's what we're going to require in the county property gardens. And the last thing they will do is they will all sign a waiver of liability to hold the county harmless should anybody get injured in their county, in their community garden source.
So these areas that you're talking about, the new areas, they have water and everything needed?
Yes, I've gone on site. That's part of the first part, is to do a site survey. And I try to place where the garden would best fit within the property, because it needs water and it needs sun to start with. Without those two, there's no garden. Once we meet that, then we'll talk about how big can the beds be and how many gardeners can we have. And it looks like some places can have a 16-foot bed, some only 8 because of limitation on size. But you're right, water and sunlight are the first things, and I'll do that with the gardeners when I do a site survey with them.
So you've probably had a lot of successes. The oldest one is the Paramore or Winter Garden?
Paramore would be the oldest one that I've been involved with. They have 19 raised beds, and the gardeners are doing a super job over there. And with more eyes on the street, there are fewer vandalism and other activities they used to turn their head away from. Seems like they don't like having people out there, and the gardeners are just as happy as can be. If you've ever gone over there on a Saturday morning when you see the group together, they're chatting it up, they're meeting their neighbors, and they're sharing their fresh vegetables.
Well, Ed, thank you so much for all your community garden information.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Consider joining a community garden. It's a great way to grow vegetables if you can't garden where you live.